It can be really difficult being a cop with ADD because focus is like a constant struggle and... Ooh, squirrel! Hey guys, what is going on? I am so excited. Today was my last day. I have a 3-day weekend. Probably doesn't sound like a big deal to a lot of you, especially those of you that are out on summer break, but I am ecstatic about it. I can't remember the last time I had 3 days off. But with my luck, something is bound to happen this weekend and every detective is going to get called out. Let's hope that doesn't happen. Guys, I've mentioned in a couple videos that I was diagnosed with ADD, and I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about that today. But I've also had a lot of questions from you guys either in YouTube messages or on Discord or Instagram or whatever. And a lot of you have told me about conditions that you have and you wanted to know if that's going to disqualify you from being a cop. So today I'm going to go over just a few of the things you guys have asked. I'm not going to put anybody's username up on the screen, just out of respect for you guys and give you a little privacy. But hopefully I can answer some of those questions for you and we can get those squashed. For those of you that are not familiar, ADD stands for Attention Deficit Disorder, and I was actually diagnosed with ADD I think it was around the 2nd grade. I think these days ADD is way overdiagnosed. I think it's over-medicated too. But anyway, let's go back to when I was in 2nd grade. So when I was in 2nd grade, I was diagnosed with ADD. At the time, Ritalin was a really popular medicine. I don't know if it still is now. The problem with Ritalin for me, and everybody's chemical makeup is going to be different. The problem with Ritalin for me was it gave me tics. It gave me like involuntary tics. And it was the weirdest thing because I've never had a tic. So to suddenly develop one, it was a really strange thing because I couldn't help it. The two main tics that I had that I can remember is anytime I would blink, I had to blink really hard. Like it was a forceful blink. And the other tic I had, and this one was actually pretty noticeable, was I had to hum. It almost felt like you had like drainage in your throat and you're trying to clear it out. That's almost what it felt like. Like I couldn't help it and I couldn't get it out. So I started humming so much that my dad actually started picking up on it. And he's like, "Why do you keep doing that?" I kept telling him, "Dad, I can't help it. I don't know why I'm doing it." Now, keep in mind, my dad is very, my mom was the disciplinarian. And nothing against my dad. He didn't want to believe that I was doing anything wrong. So needless to say, when all of this came about and I went to the doctor, even after I was diagnosed, my dad thought it was a total load of shit. He didn't believe it. He didn't want me on any medication. My mom is really the one that pushed for that. And so anyway, after I started taking Ritalin for a while, they both started noticing these tics. And so we went back to the doctor and they switched the prescription from Ritalin to Adderall. And dude, let me tell you, Adderall was like the best thing that has ever happened to me. For the first time in my life, like I was actually going to school and wanting to work. Like I was going to school, I was excited to be there. Like I wanted to write stuff down, you know, when it came to reading or writing or anything like that. I had no problem with it. I don't know, maybe this is just an old wives' tale. I'm not really sure, but I think a good way to tell if a kid has ADD, and again, I'm not a doctor. Let me put that out there first. I am not a doctor. I'm not giving medical advice. But for me, this is the way it worked for me. So of course I'm going to assume it works for everybody. For me, my mom would give me a cup or 2 cups of coffee in the morning before school. When she gave me coffee, instead of bouncing off the walls like most people do, it calmed me down. Like I was just real chill. I got to class. It was kind of the same effect as Adderall, just much more mild. It was more on a mild scale than that. But it really allowed me to focus. So coffee basically got me through like the morning classes up until lunch. So coffee seemed to have like an adverse effect on me than most people. But anyway, after I switched from the Ritalin to the Adderall, every one of the tics just disappeared. They all went away. And I mean quickly, like within a week or two. It was the weirdest thing, man. And that's what scares me about medications. I hate taking medicine if I don't have to take it. The way pharmaceuticals mess with your body, man, like I understand some of the stuff is necessary, but I try not to take anything if I really don't have to. With that being said, though, if I get a headache, I will slam some BC or Goodies powder. If you guys don't know what that stuff is, it's like crushed aspirin and caffeine. And you basically put this bitter powder in your mouth and then you chase it with some water or something. I can only think of one time that it has not completely zapped a headache in about 10 to 15 minutes. Some people prefer BC powder, other people prefer Goodies. To me, it's the same shit. Great for hangovers, dude. Let me tell you, a little Gatorade and some Goodies powder, good to go. And ADD is a weird thing, man, because a lot of people think you just get distracted easily. And yes, that's a large part of it, don't get me wrong. But that's not what it all entails. ADD is hard because every part of your life is a challenge. everything in your life is a challenge because your mind is constantly going 100 miles an hour and you can't stop it. And I've told a few people that I work with that I used to take Adderall, and a lot of them ask me, do you still take it as an adult? And the answer is no, I don't take it. I stopped taking it my last year of high school. So needless to say, as an adult now with ADD that doesn't take medication for it, I've had to learn adaptations. I've had to learn how to cope with having ADD in my own way. And I'm not a psychologist, so I don't know why I have these weird rituals that I do whenever I'm at work. The big one that I've noticed lately, and I say lately, since I've been a detective, this is one that I've noticed. I have to listen to my music whenever I'm working on cases or I'm typing supplemental reports to someone else's case. I have to be listening to music. And I could never do that in patrol because I had to listen to the radio all the time. But the weird thing is, I've noticed that whenever I listen to my music, my reports, I get so detail oriented. If I'm not listening to music, it's just I'm just trying to get it done. But when I have my music going, man, I take my time. I make sure everything in the report is right and everything else. It's just, I'm much more effective, I guess, whenever I have my music. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know. It's weird. Now, on the other end, here is where ADD sucks. When someone taps on my shoulder when I'm working and I've got my music playing, they don't understand the mindset that I'm in. It's not concentration. It's deeper than that. It's more like a trance. It's almost like you're in a daydream. That's the best way for me to describe it, is it's almost like you're in a daydream. So whenever I'm sucked into whatever I'm working on and I've got the music going and everything else, I'm in a whole different world. I have no idea what's going on around me. But when somebody taps on my shoulder, it's like I'm being yanked out of this whole little world that I'm in and just smacked back into reality. And I know that sounds really exaggerated, man, but if you were in my mind, you would understand that's how dramatic it is whenever somebody stops me from whatever I'm doing. And I know that's not a realistic mindset to have. I can't just sit there and just listen to music all day. I get that. I'm a detective. People are going to come up. They might need help with something. So, I don't get mad about it or anything. And of course, I want to be there for the other detectives, right? If they need help or something, count me in. But it's a very weird feeling getting so sucked into your zone, right? You've got your groove going, you've got your rhythm going, and then somebody just shatters it with a baseball bat. That's what having ADD is like, for me. Anyway, I'm not sure if everybody else is the same, but I know that's the way it is for me. Once I am finally focused on something, I do not like being broken from that. I am not a good multitasker whatsoever. If I had to chew gum and make my bed, I would have to stop doing one of the two. And I can't remember, I think I said this in another video, but one of the investigators made a comment, I think it was last week, and he was like, dude, I don't understand. It was right in between songs. I heard him say this. It was just perfect timing. But he was telling one of the other investigators, talking about me, and he was like, dude, I don't know how he can sit on the computer all day long and work. I have to get out of the office. As I'm making this video, it actually makes sense now. Because I was thinking about it before, I was like, damn, I do spend a lot of time on the computer. But it makes perfect sense because when I get into that zone, right, I get into that trance, it's almost like meditation. Maybe that's better than trance. I don't know. I don't know what to call it. This shit's driving me nuts. But when I am in that trance-like state, time flies by so quick, dude. It goes by in a flash. I can be sitting there, just jamming out, doing my reports, whatever, and before I know it, 3 hours has passed, and I have not taken a break yet. And I'm like, damn, my ass is sore. I've been sitting here for a while. But I just got 10 reports done. So anyway, needless to say, this is something I have had to deal with my entire life, and it's shaped who I am. It's shaped everything about me. It's shaped my personality traits. Some people call it only child syndrome. And I don't think I've ever said this on the channel. I actually am an only child. I don't have any siblings. So I don't know if it's the only child syndrome or if it's having really bad ADD. But I do have these characteristics and things. I like things done a certain way. They have to be done a certain way. I'm very methodical about everything, but I am in no way organized. So anyway, enough about my distracted ass. Let's talk about some of the questions that you guys have asked me, either on YouTube, Instagram, whatever else. There's been a lot of you that have told me that you have heart problems, that, I've had people say that I've had both types of diabetes, lung and breathing problems. So again, guys, I'm not trying to give any medical advice whatsoever. I'm just trying to think logically about whether getting into law enforcement is going to be a good idea for that particular condition or not. And we could be here all day. This could be a 24-hour video, and I could go down this huge list of all these different conditions and stuff. I'm not going to do that. What I am going to do is basically try to get you to use a little common sense by giving you some of the facts of the job. I'm basically going to throw some scenarios out there. And if you think you can do that, then go for it. Now, if you have a serious heart condition, my first reaction would be law enforcement is not a good idea, dude. Like, if you have to chase after somebody, right? Like, you've been sitting in your car for, let's say, 8 hours. There's been no activity, and then all of a sudden you're going 130 miles an hour. There's some sort of robbery at the Quickie Mart or something. I get out of my car, I see the guy, and I have to take off running. He takes off running. So now we're in this like huge foot chase, and I'm having to chase him for 5 or 6 blocks. If you cannot sprint a single block without having to worry about your heart, not a good idea, dude. Not a good idea at all. I don't know enough about diabetes to really be able to give an opinion on that. My recommendation would be to talk to a doctor. My recommendation would be to talk to a doctor about any condition you might have. That's the problem is, you know, this job is very much hurry up and wait, right? Like you might be waiting for hours and hours and hours, and then you have to hurry up for the next 15 minutes. And that could be running, that could be fighting with somebody. And there might actually be some sort of condition that you already have that you didn't know about before, right? That was pre-existing. So I think it's definitely a good idea to talk to your doctor about it first. And of course, they're going to give you like a medical screening and stuff like that. But the medical screening that I got to become a cop was not that thorough. Like you had to pee in a cup and they checked your levels, they took some blood, and okay, you're good to go. And then they'll do some other tests like, are you colorblind? Yes, I am. Well, sorry, you can't work there. Just kidding, I'm not. Okay, you're good to go then. And whatever condition you might have, just again, use some common sense. Again, you know your body better than I do. I don't even know you. I'm talking to myself right now. But if you can drive around for 5 hours straight and you are wearing 40 to 50 or more pounds of gear, right? Now, keep in mind, again, you are wearing a ton of gear on top of having to sprint. So if you could just stop your car dead in the road, throw it in park, get out and run. If you don't think that's a good idea, it's probably not a good idea. But there are other areas in law enforcement that aren't so physically strenuous. Things like cybersecurity or dispatch. There's other areas that you can go into. You don't have to be a patrol cop. I know a lot of you want to be patrol cops. Most of the people that I talk to that want to be patrol cops, I'll be honest, I know you guys want to help the community, but people want to look like a cop, right? They want the badge, they want the flashy lights. I get all that. I was the same way. I get it. But there are other ways that you can help your community just the same, if not more. The bottom line that I'm trying to put out there is if you have a condition that will not hinder you from successfully doing the job and it's not going to put someone's life in danger, then damn it, by all means, apply. I don't care if you have a mental disability, if you have a physical disability, as long as you have my back on the street and you are fully capable of doing the same job, then I think you should definitely follow your dreams. Hey, look, it's my Anyway, guys, like I said, before I wind down this video, I think you guys, if you have some sort of condition that you think might inhibit you from doing this job, talk to your doctor, get it squared away, and if you still feel like you can do the job, man, then by all means, come on, put in for it. Well, guys, that is it for today. I'm running out of time on my camera. I know I need to upgrade to an actual GoPro and not some Chinese, like $60 knockoff that I've been using. But I've been using this camera for almost every video I've done. It's worked great, but I do have to work with like a 30-minute time limit, and it sucks. Especially on like this video, because I have a lot that I want to talk about. But maybe it's a good thing, because then my videos will be like 45 minutes. And I know some of you are like really big supporters, and I really appreciate it. But I would get tired of watching me all the time. One thing I want to say, guys, and I know this is something you guys have been waiting for. You guys ask me in the comments of every damn video, Instagram, every social media platform, you guys ask me, Officer 401, when are you doing a face reveal? Well, guys, I told you in the last video or the video before that, I don't know my days right now. I told you guys to go to the website, right, and cast your vote. You guys did. 70% of you want me to do a face reveal. And a lot of you brought up a good point, and that is that like people like Mike the Cop, Officer Daniels, like they show their face, so what's the problem? Yeah, you're right. I don't have an argument for that. So I have decided, yes, I am going to do a face reveal. When? I don't know. I want to wait for the right opportunity. No, it's not going to be like sometime next year. It's going to be sometime this year, but I don't know when yet. I want to plan a good delivery. So anyway, guys, I hope you had a fantastic week. For those of you that have to work tomorrow, sucks to be you. Hope you guys have a great night. I'm going to go home, edit, and probably get drunk. Thank you guys for the support. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. Or if you want to sign up on officer401.com, we also have a Discord chat server, and all those links are in the description box below. Thank you guys for your time and support. I love you all, and I will see you soon.